Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Wednesday's show. On today's show, we react to the news that Dan Lin will not be the DC Studios president. And we'll also be talking about The Rock's Black Adam movie having a trailer drop this Thursday in the middle of D23. It's almost like Zaslav and WB Discovery don't really want to hype this movie up that much. But first, it's true, Dan Lin will not be the DC Studios president. Now, the official line from the media is that he walked away from talks because he didn't like the way the discussions were going about the ownership going forward if he did become DC Studios president of his production company. I can exclusively reveal this is not true. That's been put out there to save Dan's blushes. Dan was not in the final throes of becoming the DC Studios president. He was just one of many applicants. They decided he wasn't the right person for the job, so he won't be getting the job. That's what I've been told. Now, if you are a DC fan and you want to be in the hub, in the center point of what's going on here, and you've just discovered this channel, you should subscribe, like, and share immediately because I know where the bodies are buried. So Dan Lin was just one of many applicants and he wasn't in the final throes of getting this job. Now, I've been on Twitter and I've seen the meltdown. Oh my God, Dan Lin's not going to get the job, back to the drawing board. This is going to take a long time. The announcement of the new DC Studios president will not take long to be announced. It will happen very soon. Because the thing is, the media, when they announce stuff, they're announcing stuff that's weeks old. Now, to you and me, it may seem that that breaking news of Dan Lin not being the DC Studios president as being, brand new news, just happened then. No. This is weeks old. Weeks ago, it was announced he was in talks to become the DC Studios president. Again, that was weeks old when that was revealed to us, the public. He was just one of many applicants. I'd rather the best person get this job, not the first name we hear about. Now, a lot of you are upset because Dan Lin is a DC fan and his production company have been involved with some really good films. It doesn't really matter. He was not the outstanding candidate, and Alan Holm and David Zaslav agree with that. He was not the outstanding applicant. He was one of many applicants, and that's why he won't be getting the job. So the whole situation with the production company and him walking away from talks is absolute BS. Let me give you a scenario. If David Zaslav and Alan Holm thought this was the best person to run DC, do you think they wouldn't find a way to kind of compromise over Dan Lin's production company? Of course they would. So clearly, this is nothing to do with the production company situation. Dan Lin simply wasn't the right person for the job. Zaslav is very ambitious over who's going to run DC Studios. And when you find out who that person is, you're going to be very, very excited, as I was, when I found out who he's looking at to do this job. There are around 3 applicants that he's really, really interested in. And, you'll find out who they are, or at least the one who kind of gets the job out of these 3. Look, we've been moaning about DC live action for years, how they don't do it very well, how they make mistakes. There's no question. DC has made some great, standalone movies. Superman the movie, Superman 2. We can even go back and still enjoy Superman 3. Superman Returns is solid, not great, but solid. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel, BVS, Joker, The Batman, Batman 89, Batman Returns. Need I go on? So we've never had a great expanded universe, even though the Snyderverse was interesting and I loved it. We've never had that successful DC franchise, but my God, has DC made some amazing movies. But we've been bitching for years that there's been so many missed opportunities. I've said it many times. When they launched Batman Begins, that could have been a launch of a new DC universe. They had Batman Begins in 2005. They had Superman Returns in 2006. Then we had, was it Green Lantern in 2011? If those films kind of worked out and those directors, were interested in being part of a cinematic universe, which Nolan and Singer really weren't, but if the studio had its head screwed on right, we would have beat Marvel to the punch. But we didn't. So we've been complaining for years that we need someone who understands DC, who's good at movie production, who's proficient in the business. And this is what David Zaslav is looking to do. Just imagine if they put Dan Lin in and he didn't do a good job. We would be saying to Zaslav, you rushed to make this appointment. So Zaslav is not rushing to make this appointment. Zaslav has been looking at people unofficially for this job even before he officially took over at Warner Brothers Discovery, before the merger was ratified. So he has been looking at this situation for a very long time. I would say in the next few weeks, we will get the announcement of who's going to be running DC Studios. And be excited, trust me, it's going to be a good person, because these final 3 applicants are very, very good. 1, you've heard of. 2, you haven't heard of. And that's what I'm going to say. This is very, very ambitious. The person you've heard of is very big in another part of the industry. It's a big challenge to persuade this person to come in and run DC. So for that reason, if they fail to get their top target, then it's the other 2 applicants. And that's what I'm talking about. So when I heard this news last night, I wasn't surprised, I wasn't disappointed, and I wasn't upset. I was glad, because clearly Dan Lin is more of a businessman than someone who wants to run DC and do the best things for DC. So Alan Horn and David Zaslav have made the right decisions here. Please, people, stop going onto Twitter and being negative about this. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. And for the people who are upset about this, let's be honest, most of you don't even know nothing about Dan Lin. Like me, I only heard of the geezer 2 or 3 weeks ago. Let's be honest. So what are you actually disappointed about? I assure you, David Zaslav is the real deal. We know that Alan Horn is the real deal. And they will make the right decision for the fans and the future of DC. People keep on talking about David Zaslav only being interested in the bottom line. Yes, it's better than being interested in propaganda and extremism in our entertainment. Because Zaslav and Horn know, you make the best entertainment. You have the right people running DC Studios and other departments of WB Discovery, then you're onto a winner. So I'd rather a CEO of WB Discovery who cares about the bottom line more than extremism and propaganda, because these are the problems now that you're seeing at Amazon with Rings of Power. They're more interested in propaganda and extremism rather than giving us great entertainment. So I am Team David Zaslav. I do trust David Zaslav, and I guarantee you the noises I'm hearing from my sources are very, very exciting. We will get a great president of DC Studios, and it will be announced very, very soon, because once it's announced, we can allow that person to start working, and in the coming months we can get those exciting announcements. And in the meantime, we've got these other DCEU movies coming out. We've got a Batman sequel in development. We've got a Joker sequel in development. Very, very exciting. We've got a Peacemaker season 2. These are things that are going to happen while they're developing that 10-year plan. Now, clearly the 10-year plan isn't in development yet, because officially they don't have a president of DC Studios. Now, David Zaslav knows what he wants, that he wants one DC franchise that kind of interconnects and locks together, whether it's on streaming, TV, or in the theatrical system. And, there's been a confusion here. Yeah, but there's going to be a Batman 2, there's going to be a Joker. Yeah, for the time being, we're going with that. Don't forget, this 10-year plan will take a very long time. So you need other pieces of content to, see them through until this new vision is realized and we can see what that new vision is. So I really, really wouldn't be too concerned about Dan Lin not being the president of DC Studios. It's actually a good thing and not a bad thing. I really do feel bad for The Rock. He's going around trying to, create this huge hype train for Black Adam. Yesterday, he surprised people at a test screening of Black Adam, or it probably was from several months or weeks ago. He's trying to create hype, and he has announced on Thursday Night Football there will be another trailer for Black Adam. I'm very excited to see it. We will respond to that trailer here on Movies TV Mad. Of course we will. But, as I said earlier, if I did say this earlier, or if it was on another take of this video, which I had to stop for one mistake or the other, but as I've already said, these movies don't really matter. These upcoming movies don't matter in terms of the future of DC live action. These are just films that have to be released because they've been made. And one thing going back to a DC Studios president, anyone taking this job is not going to want to take on other people's baggage. They don't want to be involved in the DCEU or the Batman or the Joker because it's other people who have greenlit these things. They want to start again. They want to mold their own clay. They will want to be judged for their ideas and their plans and their decisions. So, they could get blamed for Joker 2. They could get blamed for the Batman 2, and they can get blamed for the DCEU. They don't want that. So there's going to have to be an official line drawn under the sun. Let's say that again. An official line drawn under the sand once the new DC Studios chief is announced, where this is happening, these films are coming out, but we've got a new plan for a new franchise that's going to be interconnected. They have to come out and be clear about what's going on, because right now people are confused. Why is there a Joker 2? Why is there a Batman 2? Why is Peacemaker still going on? Does that mean the DCEU is still happening? Oh, Ben Affleck's going to be in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Surely that must mean that we're going to get the Batman movie he was going to write and direct and star in, that we're going to get an MOS 2. People are getting carried away because they don't get what's going on here. I've explained it to you many times, and that's the thing. And as I said to you last week, WB are not spending any money on marketing Black Adam. That's all on The Rock's production company, because The Rock's kind of deluding himself. If my film becomes successful, I will get more. And you won't. Your film would have to be $1 billion movie. And I just don't see this movie making that type of money. If I'm honest, if this movie is lucky, it could make around 400 million to 600 million. Any more than that, and that's sensational. So we will see. But yeah, WB are not interested at all. They just want to get those films out there, get them out the way, then they can move on and create this reset for the DC live action universe. Sometimes in life we have to be patient. We have to be patient about the future of DC live action. I'm a fan like you. I'm no better or worse than you. I'm impatient as well, but I understand the industry and how it works. And if we want this thing to be the right thing, the exciting thing, if we want to see the bestest Superman, the bestest Batman, the greatest interpretation of the Green Lantern Corps in a movie theatre, I am going to have to be patient. It's as simple as that. And as I said earlier, it's not about just getting a president of DC Studios in. It has to be the person who's going to do the best job. This is not about finding a carbon copy of Kevin Feige. It's about finding a version of this for this role that makes sense to DC. DC isn't Marvel. Disney isn't WB. There's lots of different elements to WB. The traditions of WB is Superman the movie, is Batman 89, is Joker, is the Batman. So that's an interesting thing the new head of DC is going to have to look at. Do we have some standalone movies? Do they all have to connect? These are all big decisions. Is the DCEU going to go ahead? Are we going to attempt to fix this turd, right? Let's be honest, that's what it is in terms of a franchise. These are the decisions that have to be made, and these are big decisions, these are difficult decisions, and we need the right person to be able to make these huge decisions. This has been Movies TV Man. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wife. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you in the next video. Until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.